Hello YouTubers, I've got a quick one for you. I've got a Yamaha p2150 power amplifier at the minute. I'm getting an intermittent problem with the unit itself. I said I've got two of these, both running monoblock to run my speakers. I don't really need to have them in monoblock, but obviously it's a lot more stable if I do, instead of having to push too much from one, I can just basically balance the power output from the two then. But I bought this one a few months back on eBay, and it's worked flawlessly, no issues at all regarding this one. Then I saw one on another auction going cheap, exactly the same unit, but this one obviously is having an intermittent fault. I think it has happened before on other Yamaha power amplifiers of this, because these are studio grade stroke professional grade amplifiers, and obviously I think they've had a bit of a hard time previous to my ownership. I said because obviously now that in my ownership they're not going to get the kind of thrashing as they've had out in the field. But the issue I've got is the protection light keeps coming on, basically, which is that one there, exactly the same one there, when the amplifier is switched on, and I'm getting a red channel indicator on the B side of the amplifier, which is here, which is that basically the clip light is actually eliminated on here. The levels are down at the minute. I've tried this in both. There's a switch on the back just below this terminal here, the speaker terminal, for mono stereo. I've tried switching over the amplifier's configuration. So basically in mono it uses both halves of the amplifier to output to one channel. I've actually separated some that is operating in stereo, so I'm still getting the same issue there. It did, however, work. I had it switched off for a couple of weeks. It did, however, work yesterday. I took out this half of the amplifier. That actually detaches from the side panel. You take out the screws, and this side slides out of the amplifier, and you just take off all the connections then. So all these connections just disconnect from the main parts of the amplifier, and you can actually remove this. I did this. Checked everything over. I did run it. I'm not brilliant with a multimeter, but I did have a little check over to make sure everything is sort of working on the actual board. But I said I'm not an expert. I could be wrong with some of the readings, but a lot of the main components, like the capacitors, seem to read right. There is, however, you won't be able to see it in the light, but around about here, there's a red LED. Well, a red sort of diode indicator to show that there's power running through parts of the amplifier. There's three. There's 1, 2, and 3. And it's the same off the other side. There are obviously 1, 2, and 3. All the lights on this side are eliminated in all sections, and they're nice and bright. You may be able to see one there now. There. Can you see that red? And basically, that means there's actually power running through this half of the amp. On this side, that indicator is not eliminating, and the actual indicator lights on this side are not very bright at all, not like this side basically. So whether there's a lack of voltage going to this half of the amp from the main power stage is a questionable factor. However, though, when I turn off the amplifier, though, that little indicator, you won't be able to see it, it's quite faint, but it's actually eliminated now. Yeah, just about. See the little red dot there? It is actually eliminated now. So there's obviously this power. When I turn off the power, it's draining power from the main power supply back to the power amplifier board. So there's something happening there. There is activity. And like I said, it worked absolutely spot on last night. I didn't have any issues with the sound quality of it last night. It was running that channel there, fair and square, and there was nothing, I would say, wrong with it. The sound was balanced beautifully between the channels, so there's nothing to indicate there was anything majorly wrong with the amplifier. There could be just an intermittent fault, maybe with the relay, or I don't know. There's something not triggering when you switch on the amplifier. It is a nuisance because like I said, it tends to work and then it doesn't, and it's quite frustrating, really. And the thing is, if I could find out the fault with regards to this, and I appreciate any help that you can feed me, because that one could actually end up having the same symptoms, because they're both exactly the same units. It could end up having the same problems, just like what happened with these. One had one fault, the other one had exactly the same, because they're both identical designs. So it's good to know, if you've got one fault with one, it's good to know all the symptoms of it, because another one could develop exactly the same fault. So basically, this is why I want to get this one up and running, and hopefully I can make a cure on it. Like I said, I'm no technical expert. I'm not prepared to go to any great lengths learning electronics. I said, you know, I've actually got quite a busy outdoor life. Apart from this is just a project more than anything. I said, you know, I don't mind if it's a case of I've had to take it in for repair, I will. But if somebody can shine a light on something and it's an easy fix, and something I can do to my knowledge, then I will. I said I have done part soldering in the past. If it is a case of just replacing a capacitor or something simple, then I'll do it. If I knew what I was looking at. I said, but when it comes to reading voltages, reading circuits, I'm very limited on my knowledge of that. As I said, I've done minor repairs to amplifiers in the past, like I replaced capacitors and amplifiers and previously, and usually with amplifiers in the past, the faults were found instantaneously, because like I've had a main capacitor go, and you know it's gone because the actual top had literally, well, the plastic cap had split open. It actually had come off the board underneath as well. So the capacitor was completely, well, basically it was just useless. And it was down to a faulty speaker, which caused the capacitor to actually blow in the first place on that channel. And one of the woofers was actually I don't know, but it was, anyway, I replaced the woofer on the speaker, but it actually caused damage to the amplifier. I replaced the capacitor, very inexpensive to actually buy the parts, and if I did it myself, I save a lot of money on labour costs. And this is why I've come to you with my insistent rambling about this, because it's the time of year, it's December, I don't want to spend a lot of money. I've got a car to fix, I've got other bits and bobs going on as well with Christmas, and really I don't want to be having to take this in for repair at this major point. I'm not in a rush to get repaired, but if like I said, if anyone's got any knowledge of it and they can repair it and it's easy to do, then I'll do it. But apart from that, I'll let you go, and I hope I haven't bored you too much. And when it is up and running, I said I shall do a few videos I'll demonstrating it actually running as it should. But thanks for your time.